Hey, everybody, welcome to Jen Lowry Writes. Okay, today is the day when the Fae of Averlee was released. It is my newest MG fantasy. It is appropriate for ages 8 and up. This would be a wonderful story for you to tell with your family in the evenings. I will talk to you a little bit about some of the concepts and themes, maybe some things to look out for, and some of the resources that are coming soon. So first, I get to do an unboxing live because my books showed up last night. Yes. And I was like, I had this box before going to bed, and I was like, should I open it? Like, Eli, should I look at it? And he's like, no, save it for the party. And the box was just there, and it was like hurting my heart. Like, I actually don't even know why. I was like, should I open it? Yeah, I wanted to open it. So now I get to see the book for the very first time. So here we go. Oh, look. Oh, wow. Look how it was packed. Man, they smushed them in there. They got them all in there, though. Oh, lovely, y'all. I'm going to a book signing tomorrow if my head will cooperate. I had a headache today, and I know I was supposed to come live earlier, but I had to rest before coming live, and I'm sorry that I missed my opportunity to be with you guys at 4, but I'm glad I could make it now. I'm feeling a lot better after taking a nap. So they're right here. Absolutely love. This is my first look of holding it in my hand. Look, guys. I'm so in love with this book. All right, so to Eli and the boys. And then Chapter 1, the beginning where all things should start. And there is the Fae. So I got to tell you guys a little bit about the beginnings of this book. So it was during a couple years back, and we were talking about short stories. Oh, Kim, look, I know. We were talking about short story writing. I'm so glad you're here, Kim. And I was like, I can't write a short story. And I absolutely love reading short stories. Like, we do a short story unit at work, and I'm always finding great horror ones that I just love. Lamb to the Slaughter, God Sees the Truth But Waits, The Black Cat. Like, I could just keep going. The Monkey's Paw, The Most Dangerous Game. I could keep going if you want me to. But I love short stories. And then I was like, nah, I can't write one. And so when I said that, I did like my friend Ann. And when she'll say things, oh, I can't do it. Next thing we know, Ann's got a podcast, or Ann's doing this or that. So same thing happened to me. I said, okay, I'll turn this into a challenge. I'm going to write a short story. So then I was like, wait, how many words does a short story need to be? Because I had no clue really about I knew the structure of a short story, but I didn't kind of know like what were kind of the parameters. So I saw, well, it could be up to like maybe 5,000 words. And I was like, oh, that's great. I could do 5,000 word story. So I started to write, and I was like, whoa, what's it going to be about? So I always love to include my family's names. You guys know that. If you've ever read any of my books, you will see so many of my family members in there. And so Patience's turn was up. So I was like, okay, Patience is in middle grades right now. I'm going to write a middle grades short story. And I'm just going to ask her. So I texted my niece back in the day, and I was like, okay, Jessica, tell me, go ask Patience. I'm going to write a short story, and I'm going to use her name in it and ask her, what does she want this short story to be about? It can be about anything that she wants. And Jessica texted me back, and she said, fairies. I said, oh, okay. I said, well, then she's just going to bring the fairies back to life. And that was it. Like, it was that clear to me what was going to happen in the book. So I wrote the short story, and I finished it up. And at the very end, I will remember the ending, and it was like, okay, so you don't need to know the rest of the story, because it was like, the narrator would come in, and I was doing, working the wall. So that way the elder narrator would come in and say, you don't really want to know the rest. It was this, 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 and this. And I kind of made a list, right? Because it was like, how do I end this? It wanted to continue going, but I had challenged myself to a short story. So I like closed the ending up. I was like, these are the things that happened, but you really don't want to know the details of all of this. Just know this is how it ends. And I left the short story alone. And I was like, yes, I wrote a short story. And I went out on the podcast and I talked about writing the short story, and I challenged my listeners to do the same thing. And I loved the story. Not only did I love patience, but I loved my talking animals. And so if Kim is still hanging around, Kim knows she's one of the best beta readers in the world. Kim has read the Fae of Averlee. Kim always gets like my work. Kim knows also how much I love books with talking animals in them. Like top books, guys, of all time. And why not? Why not have a forest that comes to life? So that's the way that I knew that it was going to have to be when I wrote this book, because I find so much joy in hearing animals talk with my characters. So that was it. And I was just in love with the story, but I let it go, which I thought I let go. But then the story didn't let me go. It just kept kind of coming around. And I was like, you know what? I've got a little bit of time. I'll go ahead and I will flesh this out. I'll work the rest of this story out, and I'll just see where it takes me. And it might not even become a full-length middle grades novel. It could just be a little bit longer. It's just for me. Why not? I'm going to share it with my niece, and that'll be it. So now that I've got the book in my hand, I cannot wait to sign it and actually send a copy of it to Patience. And now she's in high school, so that just lets you know how long it took for me to get this book together. It's been a labor, guys, of love and care over this book, because the story matters so much. And this is one of those books that really matters to me. Not only is it a story about the light and the dark, but there are a lot of allusions in this book, and they are very close to my heart, and the characters parallel a lot of characters from the Bible. So I really wanted to do it the right way. I wanted to give it justice. And so I just kept working over it and working on it. And I had a beta team read. I had my WWJs read. Kim, thank you so much for reading. But I also had outside beta readers too. To everyone that has looked at this book, whether it's from first chapter to all the way to the end and you stuck through it, just thank you so much for caring for it and really helping me shape it to what it was. I want to give a shout out to Sally Shoup. Sally, you are the best editor. Thank you so much. Sally poured out her love on this one, guys, and she really took care of the story for me. And I just want to thank you, Sally, for being just an amazing partner to work with my business. You are phenomenal and so timely and so patient with me that you deserve a crown, girl. I'm telling you. So just thank you so much, Sally. So it took a while for this book to really make its place, but then I still was not ready. So I just kept moving this book to the side. And if anybody knows me, y'all know that that's not my character trait when it comes to publishing. Like, if I get a book, like, look, Four Musketeers, I wrote it, it was done. I had beta readers, I had my editor, had a cover designer, we went. And it was published like no time. But that's usually the way I operate, right? Well, not with the Fae. The Fae was a completely different love for this story that I kept coming back to it and just shaping it up again and working it and revisiting it and making sure that when I saw my Charlie, that I knew my Charlie was Paul. Like, I had to make special care over my beaver, who in my mind, of course, was John. And so I had to really move away and then come back with my love of the men that walked with Jesus or followed Jesus and spread his message and make sure that the characters within my book could be quickly identified by a family when they're reading. So we'll see if you guys, when you're reading, if you can pick out Paul, if you can pick out John. I would be interested to know if you're like, oh, I got it. So absolutely love it. I just think I told you Charlie and my beaver was John. Them. Yeah, see if you can see it. I just want to see if you can see it. So here's the book. It's here. It came out today, paperback and ebook. I am going to hopefully one day get this one into hardback. I do want a hardback book, and if it's going to be one, it's going to start with the Sunday Killer and this one, I'm sure. These are my two latest books that I want to see in hardback. But I absolutely just fell in love with the story, but I knew things were missing in the story. So I went in and I did my techniques where I color-coded my chapters for intensity. That's when I really started to notice in my plot structure, okay, there's some new additions here you've got to add. And that was the fun part. And so with all of that editing and adding and taking away, because I did have to take out some elements there too, I still said, okay, one last time before I'm going to send this thing to Sally and we're going to make this thing work. So I was like, Eli, will you read this with me? And y'all, listen, Eli loves fantasy. He loves sci-fi, but middle grades fantasy, I'm like, let's see if I can convince him. And he's like, sure, let's go. Now, we had just finished editing The Sunday Killer and reading through page by page of this adult crime novel. And he was the best beta reader. And the only other book he's beta read of mine was the Hartwell Chronicles Teenage Exorcist, because he also does like horror. So I got the crime thriller and I got the horror YA out of him. But none of the rest of the books. He's not read any of my other work. And, I've got over 30 titles out there. And so then when it came to my fantasy, I asked him, I was like, sweetheart. And he's like, yes, let's go. And that's what ended up happening. I read it page by page aloud. I love that technique and just sat with the book with him, and I could tell moments where I really got it right. And he may be watching this, but there was a few times that I was like, maybe he's getting a little emotional here. Maybe he's really caring about these characters. And I'd say, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, that's sad. That's a sad part. And I'm like, okay, it's going to get better. Just hold on. But Eli was great. And when we got to the fight scene, now, y'all know with Sam helped me with one of the final showdowns in The Sunday Killer. Like, he was the best beta reader. He's the best brainstormer with me. So when we got to the fight scene, I included Sam, and then Sam's a character in here. And he was like, Mama, don't use my name. I'm fine. You've already got me like other things that you do. And I'm like, no, if Patience has a book, you've got to be in it. Like, there's no way I can separate the two of you guys in literature. No. So Sam also is in this book. And I use what is his spirit totem. And I have him as bear in one part of the book. I'm just going to give you guys a hint on that, because y'all know Sam wants to be a bear biologist in wildlife biology. And so I always got to go to Sam. So I talked out a battle scene with Sam. Then I referred back. We were going back and researching middle grades battle scenes. We had already read Narnia together in homeschool. And I was like, let's go back and look at the battle and let's go back and read it. And when I read it, I was like, oh, wow. Okay, I feel so much better now. I've got this. I can do this. I can write this battle scene. Well, then I wrote it, and I still wasn't convinced that it was the best that it could be. So when I was reading it with Eli was like, have you thought about this? And I said, that brings it full circle. Because earlier in the book, something happens at Ellendor. And then later it works perfect. I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I not even see it? Even when I was doing like color coding for intensity and looking up at my plot structure over and over, just making sure, it just like, oh, it's that. And all of those elements all came together, and the fight scene like felt really right. And we finished the reading, and I closed my screen on the computer. I knew that it was done. Like it was done. Like I'm finished. These years have made it to this product, and I knew in my heart that it was ready. And then Sally got her email. Hey, Sally, I got another book for you. And Sally's like working it in. Thank you, Sally, again. And she fixed all of my errors in the world. And of course, the comma thing, we can talk about that a little bit. Nobody's perfect. I'm not. And I'm typing and going, and sometimes I just throw all the rules out, and I decide to just write content that can't work, guys. That's why I need my editor, and that's why I've got Sally by my side, and just so blessed, and fixed all that up, and then I was ready. So Eli got me a new program. He gifted me with Vellum, and absolutely love that. So if you guys have a Mac, I really suggest that if you are out there publishing your books, to check out Vellum. That's what helps to create such a beautiful interior here. Absolutely love the way that the books look. I want to go back in and kind of start to revamp and change. But I will just show you how beautiful the book. That was like a split piece of my chapter. There's a part here. Just absolutely love the program, and I just love the book so much. There's singing in this one, songs galore, animals talking. So music shouldn't be a surprise of anyone that has read any of my previous books, because music is at the heartbeat of many of my stories. And it is the same for the Fae. Music is what her talent really is, her gift to the world. And it can help shine light in dark places. And I do believe that music does that for so many people. We talk about, even in my classroom, about the power of music and how it can help our mood and just help us escape and just relax and be in touch. And that's what happens with the Fae. The music brings them back to life. No spoiler alert there. That's actually in the first paragraphs of the book in chapter 1. It's going to tell you right away that just hold on tight. I absolutely love the narrator pieces with Patience, where as we begin, she is the elder. She's 73 years old, and she's working back in time to tell the reader what they need to know. And I just finished reading a book from Kate DiCamillo, and I love it so much. If you've not read the Beatrice Prophecy, oh, hey, Shy. She said, love the drawing of the pictures. Thank you. Me too. I love the way that when there would be a point of view shift, there would be a change. Oh, we're getting an Amber Alert. Sorry, guys. Oh, call for information. Oh, no. I stop and say a prayer now. My heart breaks, y'all. I swear. This world. But there was a part in the Beatrice Prophecies, where the POV shift, and then it would all go bold, it would all go italics, and you would recognize it easily that there was a change. And when we were first reading it, we wondered how we were going to be able to do that. Like when patience starts to come back, there's my Charlie. That when patience starts to come back, Eli found that, wait, this isn't a good signal for me because I'm here and now I'm back again. And so thankfully I had just read the book. And so as you can see right here up that page, I started of course, the break. But then I did a bold slant. And that would be a clear indication. I was like, I can pull that off. It makes better sense. So then when you see this, I love this part. I love this book. Like every time I look at the words, it's like a melody for me. I want to read chapter 1 for you guys. I do want to do that. And I want you to go and check out my website, jenlowrywrites.com. You'll be able to click on and you can subscribe. I'm going to be sending out a newsletter upcoming with some more giveaways. I do want to give away a copy of the paperback, and I want to send that to someone today. And I would love it if you guys would share with me your favorite fantasy book. And it could be middle grades, young adult. You can email me, jenlowrywrites@gmail.com. And please let me know that you would like to be entered into the drawing for a paperback. And I will definitely take care of that for you and announce the winners in my newsletter. And if you, of course, I'll also email you back if you win. But all right, I want to read chapter 1, the beginning where all things should start. I am Patience Delaware Averlee Whitcomb. It seems obvious to introduce who I am at the beginning of our meeting, but I'm sure somewhere you've heard my full name, even if it's been in a whisper. The age of 73 is a perfect one to recall life-changing events that are being shared with you now. It's all been documented right here in these very pages for you to pass along to my grandchildren and their grandchildren and beyond. That matters to me. I know you're wondering what has created this catalyst to tell, this urgency that I had to pen these words. It's because Charlie needs us once again. And I must venture out through the woods and beyond. And I might not make it back. I'm realistic. I'm also old. So with those two things in mind, take these words I tell you to heart and pass them on. Does that mean I'm going away soon? Well, yes, dear reader. I must. It's the only way. It will be the grandest of adventures, I'm sure, because not only does one get lost in the forest of Averlee, but one can be found as well. There is a place beyond the veil right in the forest that lay on the edge of my property that is undetectable by a human eye. It is true. It is not of legend or folklore, as one might try to convince you. I'm not going senile. I'm sharp as a tack. I still got it all up here and working on all cylinders, so don't start questioning my sanity, because if you do, you'll possibly have doubts. And we can't have those when we're talking about Averlee. We have to truly believe with all of our heart. So stop a minute. Breathe in, breathe out. The breath the doctor makes you take when he's got that cold stethoscope against your chest. Breathe in, breathe out, believe. Well, now you do. And we can continue. But it'll be our secret now, won't it? Because the world could depend on you, like it did for me once. Well, that's why you must know the truth, just in case Charlie calls to you too. You'll be ready and not be afraid. Now is the time you can whisper. I promise not to be afraid. And I'll believe you. I must start at the beginning so that you shall understand all of it in its fullness. A story can only start there and make sense. There is no time to leave you wondering or filling in the blanks, even though I know your brilliant mind can handle such matters. Still, it must be told the right way. From the very start of it, I'll get straight to it. There are days that are so monotonous that a person doesn't even consider it to be worth the count, and as it goes, the course of time ticks on. Nothing really to recollect or notice because it's just a day. Maybe if we were able to keep count of these, we might have thousands more of those. Well, but then there are other days, the ones that quicken your heart and bring a new cease line, framing the eye from a deep smile at just the memory. Days that matter. The ones that help each day to face whatever may come, because the next day might be a day like the one from memory. The days that matter more. Like the birth of my first child, or the grandchild taking their first steps at my feet, falling sideways to catch my knee and balance themselves. Days like those, the ones that matter more than any other day put together. But I'm too old, and you're too young, and I may lose you in the tales of my grandmotherly love. It was the eve of my 13th birthday. It was such a day as this very one as to why you're holding this book. A day filled with magic and mystery, tin whistles, and hand drums. It was the night I brought the fairies back to life. Dear reader, I know it might be a bit hard to believe that fairies exist. You've seen them in movies and cartoons and printed on journals and pajamas. I've got Tinkerbell pajamas. I love Tinkerbell. Fairies in your human conception are all cute and sprinkle hope dust that allows children the capacity to fly. Fairies are sweet and innocent and only want to save and serve nature, not destroy it. Well, let's put this in writing. There is a dark side to all light. You know this must be true. If you don't, it's time I convince you the light does not exist without the darkness, and the light Fae have a rival, the dark Fae. So the book continues on, and at the end of the chapter, there is a promise. You will not be afraid. Because let's just say it, the light always wins. All right, guys, that is a sample reading of the Fae of Averlee. I hope that you guys loved how it started and it piqued your curiosity. And you go, ooh, I'd like to read that one with my family. Now, I will tell you that there are battle scenes in here. There is the death of a loved one that comes about. And Patience does have to wrestle with all of that. There are some harsh realities in this book. But there's also hope and love and friendship and together. Oh, Shy, you loved it. I love it so. I love it so, Shy. So I want to share with you guys like some of my favorite fantasy books. I asked you to share your favorite fantasy book with me. So, guys, number one book of all time. Okay, The Hobbit. Now, I absolutely love Tolkien's books. So, if you guys know about the Ents, when I was going back, I love the Ents. When I was going back through and I was looking at my plot structure, and I just didn't have a beware scene. Like there needed to be a song in there, like this, turn back song. I was like, who would want to sing a turn back song? And then I was like, if only trees could talk. Now, my Aunt Dot and I love us some trees, y'all. And walking through nature trails, oh, I just love it so much. Just got back from a mountain trip. Absolutely love being on the trails. I took 100 pictures on a weekend, guys, of just the leaves and the trees and the mountains. I just loved it. And so I definitely love the Ent part in Tolkien's work. And so if I'm writing a fantasy, hey, I want my trees to talk. But now my trees aren't moving and walking and going looking for the Ent lives or helping within the battle scenes or any of that. But my trees do talk. My trees give out a warning. And I absolutely love it. I will read this part for you just so you can check out chapter 9. And this is when the trees talk. And chapter 9 is called Grandmothers Can Be Birds. There's a lot going on in here that I love, guys. And if y'all know me personally, y'all know that I collect red birds, and I have a red bird in every single room of my house. I'm staring at the red bird right now. That is on my desk. I have a beautiful picture that says, "Love, God whispers to our souls and speaks to our hearts." And that's a part of my, I write for love. Just love of words. So it's right there on my desk anyway. So here's from chapter 9. Grandmothers can be birds. I guess you can already guess what kind of bird grandmother is. Turn away, hearts of stones and rattling bones. Chaos, traps, lost ways, snares will snag you before too long if you don't take care. Best to turn away, walk about the other way. Don't go any further, you're bound to be doomed. Impasse, collapse, lost mind, bears will snag before too long if you don't take care. Best to turn away, walk about the other way. Don't go any further, you're bound to be doomed. Doomed you shall be if you don't turn away soon. And that, my friends, is the tree warnings. Now, Samson, the mighty Samson is a squirrel. And Samson goes, "Oh, you can hear the trees. You can hear them. You can hear them sing. What do they sound like? What are they saying?" Because Patience could hear the trees and they cannot. And Samson's very excited about this because he loves trees. And they serve as his home, his protection, his lifeline. And of course, Barry the beaver is like, don't want to know what the trees have to say about me. Because I love me some Barry, my tea-drinking Barry, who was named after my best friend's last name. So, yes, indeed. So Barry, that's where Barry comes from. So absolutely adore every little bit of this book, even the tough, hard subject matter that I'm breathing through. The grief and the loss is there, but it is a place where a child can also see the light. So I hope so. So that, guys, is the Fae of Averlee. So you guys heard about Tolkien. You know my Tolkien. You've not read The Hobbit, you want a copy of The Hobbit, you can email me. I'll send you an ebook of The Hobbit. I will pick one person if you say, "I've never read The Hobbit. I want to finally read The Hobbit," because I give those away at book signings. And at my book signing tomorrow, I'm going to see what happens. I'm taking the Fae along with me. So y'all wish me luck for that. If you have never read The Wind in the Willows, oh my goodness gracious, guys. Sam and I found this to be at the end of a book we were reading, and we were reading in homeschool, and it was the Rising series. And at the very back, it said The Wind in the Willows. And I was like, I think I have that on the shelf. I've never read it. And it was being recommended in the back of that book. Love that book. So we were like, okay, let's go figure this out. It was from another English author, and we love English authors. And we were like, okay, we're going to go try it. So, guys, all time animals galore talking. Love me some Toad. Taking vehicles, wrecking vehicles, going to prison, having to have his friends come and save the property. Like, guys, seriously, absolutely love this book. And we read it in a time that's just been so hard with everything going on. And this book right here brought us so much joy. Like, we laughed, we smiled, and the movie is amazing. Absolutely love the movie. So we got to have movie time after The Wind in the Willows, and we read it when Sam was in 8th grade homeschool. So then each time I would read work that would really inspire me, I would go back into the Fae and just be so lit up with inspiration and just, just work, just the work, the polishing work that happens in that revising stage. So, guys, one of my all-time favorite books, The Trumpet of the Swan by E.B. White. Now, this is children's lit. Of course, you know E.B. White from Charlotte's Web, but if you have not read The Trumpet of the Swan, please. I always have to give props to the Raptor Revolution. I absolutely love it. It's another one of my books where the animals talk, and this is based on American Revolution. But this is not based on any kind of war or any kind of time period at all. This is just straight MG fantasy through the veil through to Averlee. So there is no kind of historical context at all within this book. It's contemporary fantasy. This one is historical fiction. And this copy right here, it has been through it, guys. But it is so very special to me. Stuart Little, absolutely love this book. I read it to Solomon when he was young. And then when Sam was old enough, Solomon and I read it to Sam. And this is a book that I can read over and over again just because it matters. It's just, I guess I can say, precious. It's precious to me, and it's wrapped up in our family memories. So this book also family memory. This book also family memory. And now Samuel is all token and is having a hard time wanting to read anything else. And he actually says, Mama, can we just read The Hobbit again for 9th grade English? Yeah. Wrapped up in memory. And the Fae of Averlee can be this kind of book maybe for you. So I hope that you give it a shot and you try it out. It's available wherever books are sold. You can go to Walmart.com, Target.com if you shop there, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Google, Apple Books. It's everywhere. It is being distributed through Ingram, so it is a wide distribution. And type it in, The Fae of Averlee, and hopefully it will come up. And where you purchase books, you will be able to find it. And if you can request it at your local bookstore and help support local, that would be amazing. So your local libraries, you can request it at your local library and say, Jen Lowry's got a new book. I would love it if you would get the ebook, or if you use their Libby app, or if you use their Overdrive app, request the ebook or request the paperback if that's what you like, because getting in the library systems, y'all, that is a dream of mine, and you guys could help make that happen. So request it local. Supporting your local bookstores right now would really mean so much to me. I know that Quail Ridge does carry my collection online. So if you're local to the Raleigh area and you shop at Quail Ridge, but there's just, oh, thanks, Elizabeth. Yes, my husband and I designed the cover. I actually designed this one, and it was published by Monarch Books That Matter. Thank you so much. So just supporting your local bookstores in this time would be fabulous. So you can just request it and they could get it to you. So I just want to thank everybody for coming to the party today. I'm so glad that you had an opportunity for me to read an excerpt. Remember about the giveaway. If you would like a paperback of The Fae of Averlee, just send me an email, jenlowrywrites@gmail.com, and let me know you would like to be entered into the giveaway. You can also go to jenlowrywrites.com and you could subscribe to my website, my newsletter. I'm going to be giving additional giveaways there to my newsletter subscribers. And if you've never read The Hobbit, and you might say, well, I can't give this middle grades book to someone. I don't know anyone that really reads middle grades. Now listen, I'm an adult and I read middle grades. I just finished the Beatrice Prophecy from Kate DiCamillo, my favorite author. So my favorite to read is middle grade. Middle grade horror, middle grade fantasy, middle grade anything, contemporary. So if you've never read The Hobbit, and that would be a book that you would like to read, let me know. And I would love to put your name in a raffle for a gift for that book too. And I can send you an ebook of The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. So, all right, guys, I hope that y'all have a blessed one. I am getting off of here because now I've got to go homeschool. But it was great just spending time with you and kind of talking a little bit of the behind the scenes of the book. Sorry again that it didn't start at 4, but I started getting that headache at work today and it was starting to gnaw away. And as soon as I got home, I was like, gotta go to sleep, gotta try to rest this off. So yeah, this is like the after effects of a headache from about mid-lunch until now. So thank you guys for being patient and hanging around to meet Patience. And Charlie, oh, there's Tish. Yes, Tish, it's so good to have you here. I was just telling why I couldn't start at 4. I was getting a headache at work. Look, Tish. Look. And I read an excerpt from chapter 1. So if you want to kind of just rewind it, if you kind of see me looking down, you'll be able to hear me read chapter 1, the beginning where all things should start. Look at the interior. I want to show you interior. Solomon's bragging about Chapel Hill food. He said the food was good tonight. Now I want to text my son and say, what was up? What did you eat? Oh, Korean steak and pork chops. That didn't take long. You can tell Solomon keeps me informed on what's happening on campus. Look, Tish. Thank you. Tish said it was beautiful. She's chatting with me over on YouTube. I talked a lot about, and there's Charlie. Look at Charlie. He's like a friend. I talked a little bit about how Charlie is my Paul and how Barry is my John. So I'm really excited to see if, as people are reading, do they also pick up on some of the men that walk with Jesus and surrounded our Lord. And of course, it is light versus the dark. And I wanted to just read the last sentence of chapter 1. You will not be afraid. And that is the courage as we move forward in this world, that we know that we have the love of Christ with us and in us always, and that the light will continue to shine. So let that word be the lamp unto your feet, guys. And let books like this help guide you with your family. And as you may tackle some hard things and things in life that like grief and heartache and loss, maybe books like this is a way that you can talk also about the hope and the door and how life does not end. All right, guys. So thanks for joining me. I'm off to homeschool, and there will be some homeschool resources. I'm working on Bible lesson plans to go along with this as well. Because, you know, like in my mind, like I told you guys, like I know Charlie's Paul. I know that Barry, you know, my Barry. Oh, thank you. Terry's here. Thank you so much for that. Congratulations. I know that my Barry is John, the disciple, but then I want to be able to explicitly pull all of that out so families would be able to leave each chapter and have discussion questions, some extensions, some scripture that would be able to accompany the work. So that way they could use this not only as maybe just a nightly reading like what we did with Tish, my old copy of Stuart Little, like a nightly reading that you would have with your child, but if you wanted to use this as a part of your homeschool curriculum, definitely know that these resources are coming. Right now, it is such a busy season with teaching by day, literacy coaching as well, author coaching, and homeschooling. And now we're in ninth grade, guys. And so we're working ninth grade. We're working math, biology. Hey, Ann, so glad you're here. So we're working some really tough subjects. We're doing AP biology right now, and we've got that college textbook and the supports and everything. But this mama here is having to do a lot more planning to make sure that the high school curriculum is on point for my child and rigorous. So that has been just a challenge, balancing everything in the midst of all the other things that are going on in this life. But I promise that those resources are going to be coming soon. So just stay tuned. Just follow me on social media at Jen Lowry Writes, and you guys will be able to hear all about the updates. And when I have the resource book, the teaching guide to go along with the book, with the discussion questions and the biblical text that supports the book. I'm really looking forward to creating all of that. And you would say, yeah, Jen, you could have created that like while we were writing it. Oh, no, too late now. But it's always been there. And now I just want to have that to support families. So the Rapture Revolution already does have an educator's guide there, and this is appropriate for fourth grade. This is based on fourth grade standards, especially my North Carolina people that are teaching American Revolution. So this one is for public schools or homeschools, but this one, even though there is no direct reference to the allegory, trust me, guys, I wrote it with that intent. So yes, this could be a public school middle grades fantasy, but it also could be used to dive deeper into Bible study with your family. So I can't wait for you guys to read it. This is a book that I hugged when I first, guys, I just opened the box for the first time. It was longer for shipping, and I received the box last night. And Tish, I got it last night, and I couldn't open it. Eli was like, wait till the party. So at the very beginning of the video, you guys see me like open up the box for the first time. And it came just in time because I have a book signing tomorrow morning after we have Writing Warriors for Jesus boot camp. Tish, I'm going to be going off for a book signing. So I'm really excited about that opportunity that I have for tomorrow. Thank you, Ann. Yes, Ann. Love it so much. You're my fantasy girl. So I love my MG. I want you to see Charlie. There's Charlie. Yes, Tish. Got to, because I want you to hear the very beginnings. There's Pay, my patience. Now, our family calls her Pay, so, and then I have my, that's the end at the end, but oh, Tish, I love Charlie too. I love Charlie so much. I have painted Charlie multiple times. Charlie, thank you so much, Ann. Ann just said that she loves how I had the images, Tish. Charlie is one of my favorite characters in this book. And yes, I love Patience. Of course I do. She is my heart of this book. But Charlie's my soul. So I can't wait for you to meet these characters. They just make me smile. I love it. I drank a lot of tea in the making of this book. I just want to let you guys know. And to give me courage. Oh, Tish just said, I was just typing that. She's on YouTube. And to give me courage about this, I was like, you know what? I need tea. So I made some raspberry tea. Sam actually got the pot going, and we got the kettle on, and we had 3 cups of tea. Me, Eli, and Sam had some raspberry tea, and he went out into the garden and got some mint. He put into his, and he was like, is this mint? Is this really mint? It was hilarious. But yeah, he had mint in his tea. And so we celebrated today by having raspberry tea because one of the characters, Barry, in my book, he's always about that tea. There is a scene. I'm supposed to be off, guys. I got to go homeschool. I've got like just a couple more minutes, but I got to tell y'all this part because it means so much to me. And when they're out in the woods and it's like right before battle and they're talking all strategy and all of this kind of stuff, they're like, we need to just kind of go off and we need to be in some silence and we need to kind of move off and pray. We just need to move. So it reminded me of how Jesus would go off and the disciples and they would go off and separate themselves and they would pray. So I had my team go, and when they're out, of course, they meet another animal, and he's an owl, and I named him Ozzy after Ozzy Osbourne. I know, but Ozzy was out there, and he's starting to talk to Patience about her being, who she is, and how she brought the fairies back to life, and is she bringing more hope to them that they could conquer some of this darkness that is taking over by more doom. And they're out. Then there's a moment where they go and they find honey. So Barry, of course, is excited because he can have honey for his tea. But Sam is also excited because Sam is a bear, and Sam's like, oh, there's my honey. And he just starts after it. And then the owl is like, hold up, this isn't the way that we, respectfully approach the needs that we have. Yes, we must ask, and then you shall receive. So he's like, is it that simple? And there again, there's our Bible lesson for that chapter. Yes, it is. Ask and ye shall receive. Knock and it shall be answered to you. So he asked, of course, about his honey, and the honey's provided. But then Barry takes out a vial, and instead of having a big old pot that he's going to lug around of honey, he only takes out a small vial, and he gets just enough drops, just enough for his next cup of tea. Yes, it's like Narnia. We love Narnia. We read Narnia in homeschool. Absolutely love it. And this represents that John knew the truth. The disciple John is my Barry. And John is the recorder, the historian, and he's capturing everything that's going around, and he's going to write it all down, and he knows the truth. He knows the way, and he knows the light. And he gets just enough for his first cup that he'll have, because he knows that if he goes and he asks, he shall receive. So that's another example of how families can read this book, even in the midst of such a quick scene. Like, it's so quick and it just happens and it's fast. At the end of that chapter, families can then go, oh, so what was the hero that Jen was trying to do? What was this author thinking? What was she doing? How was she planning all of this out? And I want to tell you guys that this book was planned out by Holy Spirit love, and the grace of the Lord. And thank you, God, for gifting me with stories, because I could not have written this one without Him, and it is for Him. So I do want to add that here at the end. Let us write for love, and let us write for Him. And that is the Fae of Averlee. And guys, Tish, love you. Tish said that's deep. And it's quick, and it's fast, and it moves. And it's a time where then kids can go, oh, maybe so. Maybe that's it. And I try to take opportunities like that, at least one opportunity to share a biblical principle, a biblical truth somewhere in each chapter, hidden somewhere in a layer of somehow, even in Elendor, when they go to meet the high elves. And Elendor is named after my granny. Her name was Ellen. Now, my granny's name was Ellen Gertrude, but she wanted us to call her Gertrude. So I wasn't going to call my elves kingdom Gertrude, but I took Ellen and I created Elendor for my granny. So even in Elendor, we have opportunities to be able to discuss faith practices with our children and with ourselves, because, guys, I'm a middle grades reader and I'm 46 years old and I love me some good middle grades. Again, I'm going to shout out Kate DiCamillo's brand new book, The Beatrice Prophecy. My students got to see me hug that book on its last final pages. If you guys have never read a book by Kate DiCamillo, one, I'm going to say, oh my goodness, go start reading now. You've got time to catch up. You will read her before me even. That would make me happy. But I'm letting you know that if you want to find out which one to start with, The Beatrice Prophecy. It came out this week. Came out on the 28th of September. So a week of releases, guys. Following up after Kate, come on, there's no comparison at all, ever. But just to know that it's within that same week. And no, Anne, I didn't plan it that way. And you would think I would have. But no, it just happened to fall on that same week. So what I've got upcoming with the Fae, I've got a book signing tomorrow. We're having a library celebration with costumes and, of course, the new photo wall Eli got me, which is a fairy forest. It's gigantic. It goes all the way across the room. We're going to be writing and exploring poetry at our library celebration. Appropriate costumes allowed. So I'm really looking forward to that opportunity the end of this month. If you live kind of local here, you can join us for that. News is going to be coming. I've already got it reserved, and the library was gracious enough to be able to have that space available. So I'm excited about that. And so October is my favorite month. Yay, thank you, Tish. Tish said it's perfect. Anne said it's so fun. Yes, I can't wait. October is my favorite month. You guys know this is my favorite time of the year. So I'm really looking forward to a lot of events and activities. I'm going to try to be online a little bit more. Oh, Tish said Eli needs to videotape it. Tish, I'm going to be dressed up too. We're dressing up. And my friend is coming and she's wearing an actual beautiful Fae dress that she bought for Comic-Con. So she's going to be gorgeous. So she's coming to dress up too. And yes, we're adults dressing up for a library. Why not, right? We only live once. Let's have fun with life, guys. Let's embrace it and have joy. So I'm really looking forward to that. Tish, we might get some little clips here and there, but we'll see. Oh, I know, Tish. It's going to be fun. But I really appreciate everybody who came today for the launch party. It's so great to see you guys here in the chat. If you would like to win a paperback copy of the Fae of Averlee, please go on. Tell me what your middle grade fantasy is. I've already asked Ann Delview things about like middle grades list and fantasy because Ann's my fantasy girl. But you can email me, jenlowrywrites@gmail.com. I am going to be drawing for paperback copy giveaways. I'm also giving away a copy of The Hobbit. If you have not read The Hobbit, send me an email if that's the one that you would prefer and you want to read The Hobbit. Yes, I would love to give that to you. So I'm going to give away a Hobbit. And if you've not subscribed to my newsletter, go ahead and do so. You can go to jenlowrywrites.com and you can subscribe there because I'm going to be doing additional Fae giveaways with my newsletter subscribers. And I'm planning on getting that newsletter out on Sunday. So, all right, guys, I want to thank y'all so much, and stay tuned for all of the upcoming things that are going to be happening at Jen Lowry Writes, and the resources, the Bible study that's going to be coming along with the Fae of Averlee. So if you have not got your copy of the Fae of Averlee with pre-order, don't worry, it was out today, and you're able to get your copy for you, your family, a loved one, a teacher friend, a homeschool family. Go out and buy you one and gift it for a friend. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much for joining me for my launch party, and I will see you guys later. I love y'all. Love y'all so much. So everybody that came, Shy, Tish, and I'm going back up, Terry, Elizabeth, Kim, just all of you guys that were here for me to celebrate. I just want to say that I love y'all, and I'm just so thankful for you guys in my life and supporting my author world and my work. So I'll talk with y'all later. Bye, guys.